What's up YouTube? Dale here from Zephyr, and it finally came! Dark Magician of Destruction. So massive shout out to Grimes Games, who I was able to find these online, all of the new cards, Gaze of Timaeus and Dark Magician of Destruction. So I was able to pick them up, put them in this deck. Now I've been pondering over this deck and the version of the deck that I wanted to go with first for such a long time. So I've decided to start with the Shining Sarcophagus version. If you want to see other versions, if you want to see test stand videos, then make sure you get the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours, and I'll be more than happy to do that. Now, the reason I decided to go with the specifically Shining Sarcophagus is that I feel that it's the most creative. There's a couple of bits of spice in the extra deck and some cards that you can kind of be like, oh, I didn't know this deck can make those, that I think is really kind of cool that the Shining Sarcophagus package allows you to do. So I'm going to take you through the main, the extra, and of course the side deck, so you have everything you need in order to put this deck together. I've also got a Genesis build ready for this deck as well, because you know what, when I get new Dark Magician support, I'm going to try and utilize it as many different environments and in many different events as I possibly can. And I feel that the addition of the Dark Magician of Destruction, as incredible of a card as it is going to take the deck up a very nice new level. And then we're going to get even more when we have finally, fingers crossed, get the overboarder version as well. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Diving head first into the profile, starting off with the almighty Dark Magician. So everyone has different artworks that they prefer. Mine, just because of pure nostalgia, the way that I grew up, I tell this story every single time I do a Dark Magician profile, but at the end of the day, it came down to me and my brother. What one do you want? My brother went for the big blue dragon. I went for the purple like spellcaster or the purple wizard. So Dark Magician, blue eyes, all from day one. This was always be my favorite artwork of Dark Magician. Now I'm not saying it's the best artistically, but for me, it just hits right. And if we start off the new tournament pack with getting this as an ultimate rare in the original artwork, or I just hope it doesn't hit the blue eyes levels. So 2, Dark Magician. Then we've got 3, Magician's Rod. Now, in different versions, keep in mind this is a Dark Magician build, in a different version you might be able to afford to play this at less. But the idea is, if I see Magician's Rod in the hand already, my Dark Magician Destruction can then search me out any other card I want. The idea is that your Dark Magician Destruction can get you into your Gaze of Timaeus, or it can get you in your starter of Magician's Rod, and you can build on from there. It's just a shame that this card hasn't been upgraded yet, so Rarity Collection 5 Starlight Rare, please will this into existence. Then I probably haven't been as excited. Like, every single bit of support we've got for Dark Magician has been insane. Like Illusion of Chaos, getting Dark Magician of Destruction. But I remember when this third card came out, and again, it was quite similar to Dark Magician Destruction, whereas it was being utilized in a main meta deck around that particular period of time, and that was Spirals. Not saying that Dark Magician of Destruction is getting utilized in the same kind of area of like the top end meta decks, but just being sought after and chased. And that is, of course, Magician's Souls. Absolutely incredible. It really, again, this is a combo piece. The fact that it's so easily accessible as well through Dark Magician Destruction and Illusion of Chaos just means that your combos can kind of extend that a little bit further forward. And that's really what's going to make this deck give you those different options, whether you want to go down a synchro route, bit of spice there, and I'll talk that in a minute, or if you wanted to go down more of a link heavy route, again, a little bit of spice to give you added benefits, but I'll show you all of that at the end as we go through the profile. And then 2 Illusion of Chaos and 1 Preparation of Rites. Now, if you're massively worried about Draw and Lock Bird, you could cut out the Preparation of Rites, but at the end of the day, you're going to play into Draw and Lock Bird no matter which way you do it. Whether you start off with the Shining Sarcophagus package, whether you start off with the Azamena package, the idea is you want to get into your Dark Magician of Destruction, which on the Draw and Lock Bird just pretty much doesn't do anything apart from become a fusion monster that becomes Dark Magician on the field. So I wouldn't worry so much about it. The idea of preparations is that you play a card that can deck fin you. You could play 2 preparations and 1 Illusion of Chaos, but there are some times where having the Illusion of Chaos as a monster is actually quite a bit more beneficial for you, but it really is up to you. Then there is 1 card that you could arguably cut, but I'm quite attached to it, is the 1 Timaeus, the United Dragon. Now, the reason I like this is, again, quite like Gaze. You can search out Gaze however you want to, but I like that this can upgrade the Rod into a 2800 beta, but then also is a fusion spell all in one. So it kind of gives you benefits of everything you need in 1 monster as well. The biggest risk and reward of this particular card is that it is a light monster. Now, we are playing Dominus Impulse in this deck, so I highly do consider that you could cut this card out completely and not worry about that clash whatsoever. So if you wanted to do that, that's absolutely fine. You'll take the deck down from a 42 card list to a 41 card list, and it really does come down to preference on that. Moving into the Dark Magician spells, we are playing free Soul Servant. Now, I know some decks don't want to be playing free of this. Again, that's absolutely fine just because of how easily accessible it is. But with the Shrine of Sarcophagus package, what makes it so good with that additional line of synergy is the fact that your Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, and your Dark Magician of Black Magic are treated as Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl on the field. So if I have those on the field, more times than not, you want the Apprentice Magician on the field because I don't really want to be playing the original Dark Magician Girl. The Soul Servant becomes a draw 2. The other added benefit of this one is you've got so many different ways of how you want to play this. So you could play it the normal way where you stack your deck with a correct Dark Magician card and you draw into it. So more ways to get to Magician's Souls, Magician's Rod, you name it. Or you can just use one of your cards, activate this, stack it to the top of the deck, use Magician's Souls to send a Dark Magician from deck to the grave, shuffle it all up and go again. Or you just summon down your Magician's Souls, use Magician's Souls to send this card to draw you 1 card, and then banish it from the graveyard to draw you 2 more. There is another card in this deck that I'm playing that is just something that I quite like the idea of, to be able to draw during my opponent's turn and my turn. And the benefit of something like that is because we're playing so many spell cards, if I draw into a Gaze of Timaeus, or, bit of a preview, the Fallen and the Virtuous, I can actually utilize it that turn that I draw it, which is really kind of cool. Then onto the brand new card being the Gaze of Timaeus. Now, I did consider playing this at free. What kind of stopped me playing this at free was for the fact that it needs you to have a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl in the field or graveyard. You target it, you then fusion summon a fusion monster from the extra deck that mentions that monster as material by shuffling it into the deck as material. It is treated as a fusion summon with Eye of Timaeus, but you banish it during the end phase of the next turn. You can only activate 1 Gaze per turn. Now, the idea behind this one was, yes, I could play free. If I see multiples with no way to get access to Dark Magician, which isn't ideal at all, then you're not in a very good position. You're not really going to be able to extend that much further. The fact that Rod can get this, Circle can get this, Soul Servant can stack it to the top of the deck and you can get to it very easily, and your Dark Magician of Destruction gets to it easily, I was like, okay, maybe I don't need to play free. This might be something that changes in the future. Maybe I take out the Timaeus Dragon monster and then keep the deck at 42 by putting in the 3rd Gaze. That's something that I want to keep testing. But what I'm trying to do with this is I'm trying to show you the minimum of the new cards you can play so it doesn't go crazy. Like straight away, Gaze of Timaeus was something like 20 to 25 pounds a copy. The Dark Magician of Destruction was 50 pound a copy. So it's like just at £100 investment, that's these 3 cards here. And then you're kind of looking around, well, do I need that 3rd Gaze? Do I need to be putting 125 in? And honestly, I feel you can play with 2 is absolutely fine. Then the 2 new spell cards that did get alternative artworks, but apparently they were really, really hard to pull. I'm hoping that my pre-order online, is going to come through. If it doesn't, I'll be a little bit upset because I did get them for a fairly decent price. But that is Dark Magical Circle and Your Secrets of Dark Magic. Now, the alternative artwork, like I'll be more annoyed if I don't get Secrets of Dark Magic because the artwork is, and the fact that it goes from a rare to an ultra rare is great success. Not that the Dark Magical Circle artwork isn't great, but again, nostalgia. Like pulling this back in the day, this is the original print as well. Pulling this back in the day was just, yeah, it was so exciting. This and Magician's Navigation, I'm really happy to get. But both these cards, absolutely fine. I quite like having them at 1. The other card that I like having at 1 is Eternal Soul. But through testing more and more, it's rare that I actually resolve Eternal Soul. For the pure fact that, yes, you still have a Dark Magician in the graveyard. Yes, there are ways to lean into Eternal Soul a little bit more if you wanted to. It really kind of comes down to preference and play style. But if I wanted to cut this deck down to like a base 40, I wouldn't be opposed to getting rid of Eternal Soul. It's usually there to revive Dark Magician, and it's better when you've got Dark Magical Circle or Dark Magician the Dragon Knight in the graveyard, because it's treated as Dark Magician in the graveyard. Even though Dark Magician of Destruction is treated as Dark Magician in the graveyard, it must be fusion summoned or special from the extra deck during the turn a spell card was activated. So you can't even revive it from the graveyard, which some people are like, oh, that's not fair. I really want to revive it from the graveyard. But to me, I'm like, I actually don't mind that. The fact that it's treated as Dark Magician on the field in the graveyard means I can put it back into the extra deck with Gaze. And that is also another reason why you can rely on 1 of it rather than 2 of it. Moving into the non-engine. So for the non-engine, Dominus Impulse. Like, you can focus on only playing Darks. You can max out your Dominus Impulse. You get so much value from this card. It's insane. Free Ash Blossom, doesn't even clash with Dominus Impulse. Free more Chummy Fool Losses. The chances are you're going to activate Fool Loss first before you play Impulse, so you're not really caring about any kind of blockage there. Free Fallen and Virtuous. I think this card is insane right now. As like a breaking card, the fact that it recycles resource, but then the first one sends Albion from the extra deck to the graveyard. Albion sets you the second one. The second one sends Ecclesia, and then the Ecclesia can then put the Albion back and put itself back and then spin one of your opponent's cards back. So you're getting from 2 cards, or technically from 1 card, you get 3 interruptions, which is just absolutely insane. Then a card that I actually really like in this deck is free Ready Fusion. So the target for your Ready Fusion is going to be your Sandwich. And the reason you go for this is that you can play free Ready Fusion. It can get you a level 6 spellcaster and you've activated a spell card. All it does is cost you 1,000 life points. Alternative options you can consider would be Fusion Deployment, but it locks you into fusions and it summons out Dark Magician directly from the deck. And then I feel it's a little bit risky to banish Dark Magician from the field because it's a little bit more awkward to bring it back from the banish zone, but there are ways to do it. You can play Primite Raw, and this is a lot of, I've seen a lot of people online talk about playing the Primite engine. Now, if you wanted to play free Primite Raw, I question where you find the space. If you want to bump the deck to a 60 card deck, by all means, that is absolutely fine. I try to keep the deck as close to 40 as I possibly can and still make it consistent and combo orientated. So I feel that if you were to say, I want to play free Primite Raw instead of Ready Fusion, I'd probably be like, you're probably better off playing Ready Fusion. Like, it's half the amount of life points you're going to pay, and it doesn't lose you a Dark Magician. To the flip side of that as well is if you wanted to play the Primite engine, the thing that I don't like about it right now is you've got the Ether Barrel takes out your normal summon. Yes, you can play the Necromancer that gives you an additional normal summon by discarding a spell card, but what you need to remember with these decks right now, whether you're playing Shining Sarcophagus or Azamena, is that you're going to discard a card. Like, your combos are already going to be a base of 1.5 card combos. So you're already discarding a card. And then once you discard that card, you still need to make sure you have a card in the hand to be discarded for your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Then if you're playing hand interactions like Dominus Impulse, like Ash Blossom, they're cards you actually want to use. So it kind of really does shrink down the cards you don't mind discarding. Like, the cards you don't mind discarding would be Dark Magician. You don't mind discarding Fool Losses after you've already got access to them, or after you've already put a card in the graveyard, or by going first. So you want to make sure that you have those discards available to you and you don't burn through your resource, because then getting to Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is going to mean pretty much nothing when you get to it. So that's it for the base list. This is what I would advise you to be looking at. Like, change your ratios around a little bit. Like I said, take out the Timaeus Dragon if you want to, put in the Third Gaze, you name it, adapt it as you want it to. Now, the supporting package that I'm going for is going to be the Shining Sarcophagus package of 3 Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, the 1 Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, and the 3 Shining Sarcophagus. Now, before everyone goes crazy, I've got Gandora in the side deck. I prefer to side that card in when I know I'm going second. Like, at least with Dark Magician of Black Magic, it could be good for me going first or second, because it gets me Dark Magician on the field. I can trigger off certain effects for the Dark Magician synergy and everything else in between. The Gandora, I feel, is better siding in. And the other benefit is that your Dark Magician of Black Magic is a spellcaster. So for those of you that are like, okay, well, you'd go Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, Shining Sarcophagus, search out Gandora, absolutely fine. But in this scenario, when you search out Dark Magician of Black Magic, you summon it down, that's the spellcaster you can banish. You keep the Dark Magician Girl on the field. The reason you do that is it opens up the door for this to be a Dark Magician Girl fusion target, but it also treats itself as Dark Magician Girl on the field, so that gives you your additional draw off your Soul Servant. So there's more benefits in keeping this card around rather than banishing it in comparison to banishing this card, and you can't banish the Gandora. Now, obviously, if you're playing the Azamena package, you're playing 8 cards. Again, you might find a little bit in the main deck you can slim down to if you wanted to give you a bit more flexibility. The other packages that people talk about are the King Sarcophagus with Imseti. I think that's absolutely fine, but then it's, are you going to play 3 Imseti and 3 King Sarcophagus, or like, how would you want to play it? I feel that playing 3 Imseti and 3 King Sarcophagus might be a little bit too much, but you could also play 3 Imseti and then 2 King Sarcophagus. The idea is that your Imseti would discard a card, get you King Sarcophagus, draw a card, activate King Sarcophagus, summon back the Imseti, banish the Imseti, go into the Dark Magician of Destruction. So the exact same kind of outcome. It just depends on what engine you want to use. And I always feel that if you're going to go down that route of the King Sarcophagus package, you might want to consider some other Horus monsters, just to give you a little bit more field presence, a little bit more access to your extra deck, whether you want to go down some rank 8 protection plays, or whether you want to go somewhere else. So entirely up to you on what package you choose to use. I'm testing this one out first. This is one that I've been testing out the most, and I like the creativity and the options it opens up in the extra deck. If I want probably the best version, you're probably going to look at the Azamena package, just because that access to Sylvie gives you that additional Omni Negate, which is going to be a great addition to your Enfield, opposed to what this could probably offer you, as this will more times than not offer you either a Synchro, in the form of the FA Dawn Dragster if you choose to play it. It can also technically sometimes work you into a Chengying, it can work you into a Chaos Angel, but it can also work you into a IP Masquerena, into SP, or of course into the Gorgon. So you've got a lot of different options you can kind of look at, and that's what I'm going to show you at the end of this video as well. So that's it for the entire main deck. Now to show you the extra deck. So like I said, this is the Timaeus United Dragon is one of the cards I'm considering getting rid of, taking out, which it wouldn't be the biggest loss, but I like Timaeus. The original Timaeus spell was amazing, and then it just wasn't, because it said Dark Magician monster and not Dark Magician, it kind of took Timaeus from a card that's an 8 to a 6, but I still liked it. Anyway, moving on to the extra deck. So we're starting off with one of the brand new Dark Magician of Destruction. Now, in a Genesis version, you'll probably play more of this because it's at this moment in time it's 0 points. Right now, to justify spending £100 on 2 copies of this card, I don't really understand it. Now, someone in the comments might be able to explain to me why you play a second one, but I always seem to find myself recycling this with the Gaze of Timaeus, because then it just goes, cool, Gaze of Timaeus, put this back, and then during the next turn, I summon this out. The only benefit I could possibly imagine of playing a second Dark Magician of Destruction is if you want to summon a Dark Magician of Destruction during your opponent's turn with a Gaze of Timaeus to search. But even then, you're probably going to use the first Gaze of Timaeus to get you into your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and then you'd have a second Gaze of Timaeus during your opponent's turn anyway to still get you back to the first Dark Magician of Destruction. So, to me, 1 is more than enough, but I still don't fully understand 2 yet. I'm then playing the one Timaeus United Magical Dragon. Now, this is completely optional. Again, this is just one of them cards that becomes a tower that is unaffected for the rest of the turn. So for those of you that aren't familiar with both these cards, your Dark Magician of Destruction is a Dark Magician plus a light or dark monster, and it must be either fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck during the turn a spell card or an effect is activated by banishing a level 6 or higher dark spellcaster monster you control as material. Only special summon it once per turn this way, no matter which method you use. This card's name becomes Dark Magician while on the field or in the graveyard, and if it's special summoned, you get to add a Dark Magician or a card that mentions it from the deck to the hand. Your Timaeus United Magical Dragon is Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl plus a dragon or spellcaster, but it can obviously always be cheesed out with Gaze of Timaeus. After this card is special summoned, it's unaffected by other card effects until the end of your next turn. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If it battles during damage calculation, you can make this card gain 100 attack for each spell in the graveyards and banishment. And during your opponent's turn, quick effect, target a spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. Now the card, more times than not, you're going to turn this into is going to be your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which is why I'm highly considering playing 2 Red Eyes Dark Dragoons rather than the Timaeus United Dragon. But again, that comes down to preference and options. I'm showing you variety rather than dedicated options, because then you can go, right, well, he makes a very good point of playing 2 Dragoons, and I'm not the biggest fan of United Dragon. Let's change that out. The other targets you could play is Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. This is just a way to protect all your spells and traps, but also the fact that it treats itself as Dark Magician in the graveyard means you can bring it back with Eternal Soul, and that's just quite a nice blocker to have Eternal Soul protected alongside a Dark Magical Circle, really taking Dark Magician back a bit. And then I'm playing the one Dark Magicians. Now what I really like about this card is there'll be ways where I can fusion this, whether it be with Secrets of Dark Magic or another spicy card in the extra deck that I'll show you in a second. The idea is that I can fusion into this before I activate Gaze of Timaeus. Of course, I can summon it with Gaze of Timaeus, but the idea would be that if this is already on the field and I activate Gaze of Timaeus, this card will let me draw 1 more card. So where I've drawn 2, maybe off of Soul Servant because of Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, I then get to draw an additional card for the Dark Magicians. Then during my opponent's turn, if I activate another spell card, which in a deck like this, I've got the Fallen and the Virtuous, I've also got another Gaze of Timaeus, and there's other spell effects that can be utilised, or my opponent activates a spell effect, I get to draw a card, and if there's a spell or trap that is a quick play, I get to activate it that turn. So if I draw a Fallen and the Virtuous, and I don't have a Fallen and the Virtuous on the field, I can go, cool, activate Fallen and the Virtuous. So it's a really kind of cool card. So you draw a card, and if it's a spell or trap, you get to set it, and if it is a trap card or a quick play, I get to activate it that turn. If it's destroyed, I have to special, or I don't have to, but you can special summon both a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl from the hand, deck, or graveyard. Now, unfortunately, the Magician's Apprentice does not treat itself as Dark Magician Girl in the main deck or the hand, so that, or even the graveyard, so that won't be able to resolve. The other is this is just a draw power card, and I'll show you how you make that when I get to it in a second. Then got the one Master of Chaos. Now, if you're playing the Gandora, you don't really need to play the Master of Chaos, but what I like about this one is it's Dark Magician plus a Chaos or Black Luster, but again can be cheesed out with the Gaze of Timaeus. If it's Fusion Summoned, you get to target a light or dark monster on, in your graveyard and special summon it. Tribute 1 light and 1 dark monster to banish all monsters your opponent controls. If this fusion summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to target a spell in your graveyard and add it back to the hand. Now, the light monster you'll have to kind of trigger off to do this will be your Timaeus United Dragon. If you want to make it more consistent, you'll play the Artemis in the extra deck. But again, it's one of them ones that's like, is it really worth it? With the Gandora, like I was trying to mention, the Gandora does the job you need to. Like the Gandora nukes the entire field. But if you just want to banish the entire field instead, or banish all your opponent's monsters, this is a better option to do it. Then we've got the one sandwich. And then the card that is going to make you, or give you the option to make the synchros, is your Magistus Chorozo. So as you're going through your plays, more times than not, if you start with the Shrine Sarcophagus package, whether you get the Dark Magician or not, you can turn yourself into the Dark Magician of Destruction, you can turn yourself into a Magician's Rod, normal summon down the Magician's Rod, and if you want to get really, really greedy, you go Magician's Rod, grab your Soul Servant, activate Soul Servant, put Magician's Soul to the top of the deck, and because your Dark Magician of Destruction is treated as Dark Magician, you banish that from the graveyard, you draw the card, which is going to be your Soul Servant, and then you can summon down your Soul Servant, sending a Dark Magician from deck to grave. Now, what you're trying to do is, if you've already got Gaze of Timaeus, which you should do through those routes of play, like there's no way you're searching out Soul Servant if you don't already have Gaze. But what you would then do is, if you want to get into Chorozo, you would put back your Magician's, you would send your Magician's Souls and your Dark Magician of Destruction to the graveyard, and you would summon out the Chorozo. Straight away, your Chorozo is a level 4. That will then give you the ability to synchro with your Magician's Rod to make an FA Dawn Dragster if you wanted to, and then you've got Gaze of Timaeus to put the Dark Magician of Destruction back to the extra deck, and that gives you your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. If you want to be a little bit extra spicy, you need to leave your Dark Magician Girl Magician's Apprentice on the field. You do the exact same play, but this time you'd use Magician's Rod and you would use your Dark Magician of Destruction, go into your Chorozo. Your Chorozo can then synchro with your Dark Magician Girl, and that can go into a Chen Ying. Chen Ying obviously then gives you the ability that when you're banishing cards, whether that be through Dark Magical Circle or whether that be through any other means possible, this can then double up and banish another one from your opponent's graveyard and another one from their field. Not to mention that for every banished card, it gets stronger and your opponents get weaker, and the fact it can protect itself from being destroyed by card effect can make it a really annoying card to deal with. Another card that you can make, even with or without Chorozo, is your Chaos Angel. Now, this is probably a little bit easier to make for the pure fact that it just requires Dark Magician plus Magician's Rod, which is really easy to do because in the exact same combo that I mentioned, you just go Soul Servant, Magician's Soul, send Dark Magician, but summon the Dark Magician, and then you'd synchro off your Magician's Rod with your Dark Magician. That's your Chaos Angel, backed up with a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And on top of that, because you use it with Dark monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. So good luck trying to go over 4k Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and then destroy it by battle when it can't be destroyed by battle. So you'd actually feel a little bit more comfortable putting your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon in defense mode. So I think this is kind of like a really cool option. As I already mentioned was the FA Dawn Dragstar. That is another thing that you can consider. It does open up the door to other options. Some other cards I did consider was Gingeracy, so the level 11 Synchro monster that you pay 1500 life points to destroy all of your opponent's spells or monsters. You could consider the Snake-Eyed Doom Dragon for the pure fact that's a level 12. But to do that, you would need to use Chorozo plus a level 8, which is either going to be your Timaeus United Dragon or it's going to be your Dark Magician of Destruction. And if you do that, you can't make Chorozo because you still need then another fusion monster on the field. So it gets a little bit cloudy, but this I wanted to show you like creative options you can consider. There's still one more creative option, don't worry. We've got the one Albion the Branded Dragon and the one Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon. This is purely your targets for the Fallen and the Virtuous. And then the final bit of spice in the extra deck is the one Proxy F Magician. So in the exact same combo, just going to keep going back to it. Once you've got your Dark Magician of Destruction on the field, once you've got your Magician's Souls and Magician's Rod, the idea is that you can make Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So if you wanted to get extra spicy, you could go for a Cross Sheep, but then you're not really reviving anything of much use. But the idea would be, if you can get your Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice on the field, you can use Proxy F Magician to use that Dark Magician Girl, Magician's Apprentice. So you would make your Proxy F Magician with Magician's Rod or Magician's Souls plus the Dark Magician of Destruction. You'd go into Proxy F Magician. Your field at that point would still be left with Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, and then either Souls or Rod, whatever one you left, it doesn't matter. You'd make Proxy F Magician, you'd make this to then fuse that Dark Magician Girl, Magician's Apprentice, treated as Dark Magician Girl, and the Spellcaster to make your Dark Magicians. Then you'd activate Gaze of Timaeus, putting back your Dark Magician of Destruction to the extra deck, drawing one card off of the back, bring that back for your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Then you'd be able to trigger off your Dark Magicians to draw you one card. then it means during your opponent's turn, you've got another draw if they activate a spell card. So it's just a creative option. Don't go crazy. Like, you can take this out again. That's an FA Dawn Dragster. That can also become your Gorgon. Entirely up to you. Because the final two cards I'm playing is the IP and the SP. So as you would have noticed, I've definitely taken out all of the link options. So there's no longer Dart the Dark Charmer into Selene, into Imduct, into Access Code. You can do that. I just honestly don't think the deck needs it. I still feel there's some space in the extra deck that I can shuffle up and change around a little bit, and that's stuff that I'm still trying to figure out. But I've shown you 15 different cards in the extra deck that give you options. If you want to be spicy and open up the door to some synchro plays, you can do. If you want to open up the doors to some more draw power, you can do. There's loads of different options you can explore with this deck, and that's what I absolutely love about this. When you're looking at the Azamina package, that will kind of change your extra deck a little bit because you want to get 2 cards from the Azamina strategy in there, but it still gives you creative freedom to do as and what you need to. So now moving on to the side deck, just to finally blitz through this, we've got 3 Dragon's Mind. So this is the card that as long as you control when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated while you control a monster with 2,500 original attack, you get to negate the activation if you do destroy it. And if it's in the graveyard, you pay 2,500 life points and reset it. The benefit of that one is I can go Magician's Soul, send it, draw a card, and then reset it. 3 evenly match, I just don't think people really expect evenly match. But you can, of course, play anti-magic arrows and magic deflector if you're expecting to go up against loads of radiance. 2 Dry Lot Birds, 2 Molchomi Meows, Perulia, 2 Nibiru. This is kind of like a decision to make that I could fit in the Gandora. And the idea behind the Gandora, as I just quickly put these back into frame, the idea behind the Gandora is as long as you control Shining Sarcophagus, you get to special summon it. Then you get to pay half your life points to destroy as many other cards on the field as possible. And if you do, banish them. And then special summon a level 7 or lower monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus directly from the deck and increase its level by the number of cards destroyed by this effect. So the idea would be is you'd go Dark Magician Girl's Magician's Apprentice, search you out your Shining Sarcophagus adds you your Gandora, summon down your Gandora, use the effect of Gandora, paying half your life points. Very, very costly, but this is just the example of how it would work. You would destroy your Dark Magician Girl Magician's Apprentice, but you can't destroy your own Shining Sarcophagus, which is fine. But then you'd be able to summon out the Dark Magician of Black Magic, and you'd get the Dark Magician back to the field. So you'll have a Dragon and a Dark Magician, so you could hard make with something like Secrets, Dragoon with your Secrets. Not the ideal way of going about it. The idea is that I'm going to be siding in Gandora for going second, and then go, cool, Dark Magician Girl, Shining Sarcophagus for Gandora, summon down Gandora, pay half my life points. Now my opponent needs to interact with me. If they don't interact with me, they're going to lose their entire field. I'll lose my field, but I'm only losing Dark Magician Girl. And then I still get the Dark Magician to the field, which can then be banished to go into Dark Magician of Destruction. So it makes so much more sense, but I don't see the point in main decking this, as it is going to be an additional brick in the deck already. But it's one of the ones that I'm quite happy to side in and build it in from there. So that is it for the entire main deck, the extra deck, the side deck, and a full deck profile breakdown. Like, it's nearly been half an hour, but I hope I've given you so much information that your ears are probably like well and truly numb. In a good way, I hope. Anyway, that is it for the entire profile. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to answer them. Like I said at the start of the video, if you want to see more version of this, whether it be the Azamina version, or whether you want to see the Shining Sarcophagus version, I'm not the biggest fan of the Primite version. I've already kind of talked about my roots on that one itself. But if you want to see that version, I'll be more than happy to do so. If you want to see a Genesis version, I'm happy to do that. But if you get this video above 50 likes, I'll then do another video, and then we'll keep that rolling, even the test hands and some combos for the deck as well. Now, what I'll do, just to kind of show you the last kind of bit of this, is I'll show you the 1.5 card combo that is the basic combo of how this is all going to work. So in an ideal scenario, you want to open up your Dark Magician Girl Magician's Apprentice. We're going to use the effect of this, discarding any random card from your hand. So ignore this, it's just going to be a blank. You'd summon this down, this would then search you out your Shining Sarcophagus, you'd activate this would grab you your Dark Magician of Black Magic. Because you control Shining Sarcophagus, you get to special summon this card down. And now, usually as I've mentioned, I'll banish the Magician of Black Magic to get me into the Dark Magician of Destruction. We use Dark Magician of Destruction's effect. Now, if you want to play it safe, you'd go for a Gaze of Timaeus. You'd just link these two straight off. That goes into your IP Masquerena. Activate Gaze, put this back. That's your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Remembering that you are going to need to consider the remainder of your hand being 3 random cards. But if these random cards are of nothing of very much importance, then you can play it a little bit differently. Now, another option, rather than going directly for Gaze, and if you want to be extra greedy, you can go down for your Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod will be your normal summon, and this will then grab you your Gaze of Timaeus. So you just need to make sure you're getting to the Gaze of Timaeus. The benefit of this one is that this would then give you the guarantor of being able to put either these two or either these two together, doesn't matter. That would then get you into your IP. This then leaves you with that additional monster on the field for your IP Masquerena play. You'd activate the Gaze, you'd put back your Dark Magician of Destruction, and then you'd be able to summon out your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So this is just the very basic play line of what you want to be looking for. This isn't the best way. This is where like test hands would come into play, because then you need to take into account the remaining cards in your hand. If any card in your remaining hand is Magician's Souls, if the remaining card in your hand is Gaze of Timaeus, if it's already Magician's Rod, if it's Illusion of Chaos, if it is Soul Servant, like you've got so many different options that the rest of this hand could be, it would then extend this field even more so. So rather than IP, maybe we go into the Proxy F Magician, we draw cards, you move on from it and everything else in between. Like literally just adding to this hand, Magician's Souls, gives you the Proxy F, an additional draw, plus Soul Servant as well, would give you so much more. Anyway, that is it for the entire profile. Like I said, questions down below, more than happy to answer them. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.